Hello, my friend. I'm really glad you're here today. Maybe you clicked on this video because you want to improve your life. Or maybe you just feel that something is missing when it comes to money. Not more money, but more understanding. Because the truth is, most people don't fail financially because they are lazy. They fail because they are unaware. They earn, they spend, they repeat, year after year. And one day they wake up and ask, "Where did all my money go?" Today, we're going to talk about something simple, but powerful. Financial awareness. Not complicated investing strategies. Not get-rich-quick ideas. Just awareness. The skill that quietly changes everything. If you truly understand this, your financial life will never be the same again. Let's begin. Part 1. The invisible problem. Living without awareness. Most people think money problems come from low income. But that's not the full story. There are people who earn a lot and still feel broke. And there are people who earn less, but slowly build a stable life. So what's the difference? It's not luck. It's not intelligence. It's awareness. Financial awareness is simply this: knowing where your money comes from and where it goes. Sounds easy, right? But in reality, most people don't know. They swipe their card, they tap their phone, they buy things quickly, small amounts, again and again. Coffee, subscriptions, online shopping. Nothing feels dangerous. But over time, these small, unconscious decisions become a big problem. This is what makes it dangerous. It's invisible. You don't feel pain when you spend. You don't see the full picture. And because you don't see it, you can't control it. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you have a small leak in a water tank. Just one drop at a time. You might ignore it. It doesn't look serious. But after days, weeks, months, your tank becomes empty. Money works the same way. Without awareness, your financial life slowly leaks. And one day you feel stressed, confused, even frustrated. You might think, "I need to make more money." But sometimes the real answer is different. You don't need more money. You need more awareness. Because awareness changes behavior. And behavior changes your future. In the next part, we're going to go deeper. We'll explore why most people avoid looking at their finances, even when they know they should. And once you understand that, you'll start seeing your own habits more clearly. Part 2. Why people avoid looking at their money. Now here is something interesting. Most people know they should manage their money better. They know they should track spending, save more, plan ahead. But they don't do it. Why? It's not because they are lazy. It's something deeper. It's emotional. Money is not just numbers. Money is connected to fear, stress, and even shame. When people look at their bank account, they don't just see money. They see their decisions, their mistakes, their reality. And sometimes, that reality is uncomfortable. So what do? They avoid it. They say things like, "I'll check it later." "I don't want to think about it now." "I already know I don't have enough." This avoidance feels safe, but it creates a silent problem. Because when you avoid your finances, you give up control. Imagine driving a car, but you refuse to look at the dashboard. You don't check your speed. You don't check your fuel. You just keep driving. At first, everything seems fine, but sooner or later, you run into trouble. Money works the same way. Avoidance doesn't solve the problem. It hides it. And hidden problems always grow. There is also another reason people avoid financial awareness. It's called instant comfort. We live in a world where spending is easy. One click, one tap, 1 second. You feel bored? Buy something? You feel stressed? Order food? You feel tired? Subscribe to entertainment. Spending becomes a way to feel better, quickly. But awareness does the opposite. Awareness slows you down. It asks questions like, do I really need this? Can I afford this? What will this cost me later? And those questions are uncomfortable. So people choose comfort over awareness, again and again. But here is the truth you need to understand. Every time you avoid awareness, you're making a financial decision, unconsciously. And unconscious decisions are often expensive. The good news? This can change, not by force, not by pressure, but by a small shift in mindset. Instead of seeing money as something stressful, you start seeing it as something neutral. Just information, just data, no judgment. When you remove emotion, awareness becomes easier. And when awareness becomes easier, control becomes possible. In the next part, we will talk about something very powerful. How small awareness creates big financial change over time. This is where things start to become exciting. Part 3. Small awareness, big change. Let's start with a simple truth. Big financial change does not come from big actions. It comes from small awareness, repeated over time. Most people are waiting for something big to happen. A higher salary, a better job, a lucky opportunity. They believe that one big moment will fix everything. But real change doesn't work like that. It's quiet, it's slow, and most of the time, it's invisible. Let me explain. Imagine 2 people. The first person never checks their spending. They buy whatever feels right in the moment. The second person does something very small. Every day, they take just 2 minutes to look at their expenses. That's it. No complex system, no perfect budget, just awareness. At the beginning, there is almost no difference between them. But after 1 week, the second person starts to notice patterns. Why am I spending so much on food delivery? Do I really use all these subscriptions? Why do I shop more when I feel stressed? These questions are powerful because awareness creates clarity, and clarity leads to better decisions. Now here's where things get interesting. The second person doesn't need to force discipline. They don't need to say, I will never spend again. Instead, something natural happens. They begin to adjust. Maybe they order food less often. Maybe they cancel one subscription. Maybe they pause before buying. Small changes, almost invisible. But over time, these small changes start to grow. After 1 month, they save a little more. After 3 months, they feel more in control. After 1 year, their financial life looks completely different. Not because they made a big move, but because they stayed aware. This is the power of accumulation. Not just money accumulating, but awareness accumulating. Every time you notice your behavior, you improve it slightly. And those small improvements compound, just like money. Now here's something important you need to understand. Awareness is not about being perfect. You will still make mistakes. You will still spend on things you don't need. That's normal. But the difference is, you will see it. And when you see it, you learn. And when you learn, you improve. Without awareness, you repeat the same mistakes, again and again. With awareness, every mistake becomes a lesson. That is how change happens. Slowly, quietly, powerfully. In the next part, we will go deeper into a very practical idea: how to build simple financial awareness habits that actually work in real life. No complicated systems, no stress, just clear, simple actions. You can start today. Part 4. Simple habits that build financial awareness. By now, you understand something important. Awareness is powerful, but awareness without action doesn't change your life. So the question becomes, how do you actually build financial awareness? In a simple, realistic way? Not something complicated. Not something that feels like hard work, but something you can do every day. Let's break it down. 1. The 2-minute daily check. Start with the easiest habit possible. Every day, take just 2 minutes to look at your money. That's it. Open your banking app, check your balance, look at your recent transactions. No judgment, no stress, just look. This small habit does something powerful. It keeps your financial life visible. And when something is visible, you naturally pay more attention to it. You don't need to analyze everything. You don't need to fix everything. Just stay aware. Consistency is more important than perfection. 2. Name your spending. Here's another simple but powerful habit. Every time you spend money, ask yourself one question. What is this really for? Not just the item, but the reason. For example, buying coffee. Is it convenience, habit, comfort, ordering food? Is it hunger, laziness, stress, shopping online? Is it need, boredom, emotion? When you name your spending, you begin to understand your behavior. And once you understand your behavior, you can change it. Without awareness, spending feels random. With awareness, it becomes intentional. 3. The pause rule. This is one of the simplest habits, but also one of the most powerful. Before you buy something non-essential, pause, just for a moment. Take a breath. Ask yourself, do I really want this? Or do I just want the feeling right now? You don't have to say no. You just have to pause. That small pause creates space between impulse and action. And in that space, better decisions are made. 4. Track one category only. Many people fail because they try to track everything. Too complicated, too overwhelming. So here's a smarter way. Pick just one category. Food, shopping, entertainment. Track only that. Why? Because focus creates clarity. When you clearly see one area, you start to understand your habits faster. And often, that one category already explains a big part of your finances. Start small. Build confidence. Then expand later if you want. 5. Weekly reflection. 5 minutes. Once a week. Take 5 minutes to ask yourself, what did I do well with money this week? What can I improve next week? Keep it simple. No long notes, no complicated system. Just honest reflection. This habit turns awareness into growth, because awareness alone shows you the problem, but reflection helps you improve. Now here is the key message of this part. You don't need perfect discipline. You don't need complex tools. You just need simple habits, repeated consistently. That is how financial awareness becomes part of your life, not something you force, but something you live with. In the next part, we will explore something deeper, the connection between awareness and financial freedom. Because once you build awareness, your relationship with money begins to change, and that changes everything. Part 5. Awareness and the path to financial freedom. When people hear the words financial freedom, they often imagine something big. A large bank account, passive income, no need to work. It sounds exciting. But here's the truth. Financial freedom doesn't start with money. It starts with awareness. Because before you can control your money, you need to understand it. And before you understand it, you need to see it clearly. That's where awareness comes in. Freedom is not about how much you earn. Many people believe, if I make more money, I will be free. But in reality, more income without awareness often leads to more spending, a higher salary, a bigger lifestyle, better phone, better car, more subscriptions, more pressure. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it traps people. They earn more, but they don't feel free because their expenses grow at the same speed as their income, sometimes even faster. So they keep working harder, but never move forward. Awareness breaks the cycle. Now imagine a different situation. You are aware of your money. You know your income. You understand your spending. You see your habits clearly. Something powerful happens. You begin to make intentional choices, not emotional decisions, not automatic spending, but conscious actions. You start asking, do I really need to increase my lifestyle? Or can I increase my freedom instead? That question alone can change your future. Because financial freedom is not about impressing others. It's about giving yourself options. The option to rest. The option to say no. The option to choose your life. And those options come from control. Control creates freedom. Let's make this very simple. If you spend everything you earn, you have no control. If you save a small part, you begin to have control. If you consistently manage your money with awareness, control grows. And as control grows, freedom grows. Not suddenly, but gradually, quietly, just like we talked about before. Small awareness, repeated over time. The emotional shift. Here's something most people don't talk about. Financial awareness doesn't just change your money, it changes how you feel. Less stress, less confusion, less fear. You no longer avoid your finances. You face them. Calmly. Clearly. And that confidence is a form of freedom, even before you become rich. A different definition of wealth. So maybe it's time to redefine what wealth means. Wealth is not just numbers. Wealth is knowing where your money goes, feeling in control of your decisions, having the ability to plan your future. That is real power, and it all begins with awareness. In the next part, we will explore a critical mistake. Why many people lose financial awareness over time, even when they start strong. Understanding this will help you stay consistent and avoid going backward. Part 6. Why people lose financial awareness over time. At the beginning, financial awareness feels exciting. You check your money. You track your spending. You start to feel more in control. Everything looks better. But then, something happens. Slowly, quietly. You stop. You stop checking. You stop tracking. You stop paying attention. And before you realize it, you are back to your old habits. Why does this happen? Let's break it down. 1. Awareness feels boring. At first, awareness is new. It feels fresh. It feels motivating. But after a few weeks, it becomes routine. And routine can feel boring. There is no excitement in checking your expenses every day. No reward, No instant result, just small repetitive actions. So the brain starts looking for something more interesting. And slowly, you lose consistency. 2. No immediate results. Here's another challenge. Financial awareness works slowly. You don't become rich in 1 week. You don't see huge changes overnight. And because results are not immediate, people feel like it's not working. They think, what's the point? It doesn't make a big difference. So they stop. But what they don't see is this. The real results are building, silently. Just like before. Small changes, accumulating over time. 3. Emotional spending comes back. Life is not always stable. There are days when you feel tired, stressed, frustrated, and in those moments, old habits return. You spend to feel better. You ignore your awareness. You tell yourself, it's just this one time. But one time becomes 2, then 3, then a pattern. And slowly, awareness fades away. 4. Too much complexity. Some people start simple, but then they add too much. Spreadsheets, apps, detailed budgets, too many categories. It becomes complicated, and when something feels complicated, it becomes hard to maintain. So they give up. Not because they don't care, but because it feels overwhelming. 5. Forgetting the why. This is the most important reason. People forget why they started. At the beginning, they want control, they want freedom, they want a better life, but over time, that reason becomes weak. And without a strong why, any habit can disappear. How to stay consistent. Now here is the good news. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to stay connected to awareness. Here are 3 simple reminders. Keep it simple. If it feels hard, make it smaller. Accept imperfection. Missing 1 day doesn't mean failure. Remember your reason. Why does this matter to you? Because awareness is not a short-term action. It's a long-term relationship with your money. And like any relationship, it needs attention. Not every hour, not every minute. Just consistent care. Here is the truth. You will lose awareness sometimes. That's normal. But the difference between success and failure is this. Do you come back or do you quit? Every time you come back, you rebuild control. Every time you quit, you start over. In the next part, we will bring everything together. How financial awareness transforms your entire life. Not just your money. This is where the full picture becomes clear. Part 7. How financial awareness transforms your life. Up to this point, we've talked a lot about money. Tracking, spending, habits, control. But here is something deeper you need to understand. Financial awareness doesn't just change your money. It changes your life. 1. You start making clearer decisions. When you become aware of your finances, your thinking becomes clearer. You don't just react anymore. You pause. You evaluate. You choose. This doesn't only apply to money. It starts affecting everything. Your time, your energy, your priorities. You begin to ask better questions. Is this worth it? Does this help my future? Am I acting with intention? And those questions lead to better decisions. 2. You gain confidence. There is a special kind of confidence. That comes from understanding your situation, not guessing, not hoping, but knowing. Knowing your numbers, knowing your habits, knowing your direction. Even if you are not rich yet, you feel stronger because you are no longer lost. And that confidence shows up in your life, in your work, in your conversations, in your choices. 3. You reduce stress. One of the biggest causes of stress in life is uncertainty. Not knowing if you have enough, not knowing what will happen next. Financial awareness reduces that uncertainty. You may still have challenges, but now you can see them clearly. And when you can see a problem, you can face it calmly, step by step. 4. You build a stronger future. Awareness helps you think long-term, not just today, not just this week, but years ahead. You start to plan, you start to prepare, and even small actions become meaningful, saving a little, spending wisely, avoiding unnecessary debt. These decisions may feel small today, but over time, they shape your future. 5. You live more intentionally. This is perhaps the most important change. You stop living on autopilot. You stop following habits without thinking. Instead, you become intentional with your money, with your choices, with your life. And when you live intentionally, you feel more in control, more aligned, more at peace. The final truth. So here is the truth I want you to remember. Financial awareness is not about restriction. It's not about saying no to everything. It's about understanding, so you can choose wisely. It's about control, so you can create freedom. And it's about small, consistent actions that quietly transform your life. If you've stayed with me until this moment, I want to say thank you. Not just for watching, but for being willing to think differently. Because most people avoid this topic, but you didn't. And that already puts you in a different position. Now here's something simple you can do today. Take just 2 minutes and look at your money. No pressure, no judgment, just awareness. That's how it begins. And if this video gave you even one useful idea, one small shift in perspective, I invite you to stay with this journey. Because we're not just talking about money here. We're building awareness. We're building discipline. We're building a better future, step by step. So if you're ready for that, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and join a community that chooses growth over comfort. Thank you again for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.